It's funny because it's what Zai was saying, as if this is what EG wanted, whether it's so that they can just figure out how they're going to play without these heroes in a big stage, or whether it's because they have other strategies in mind. Probably a combination of the both. I mean, TS coming up, they don't just want to be winning an entire tournament doing Sand King Puck every game, but just figure out how they're going to play without these heroes in a big stage, or whether it's because they have other strategies in mind.
For sure, with those heroes. And I think it's a really good thing from Liquid to do that. Like, just get rid of those heroes, make EG just play a completely different kind of game.
Ooh.
There we go. The Tusk is back.
IO Tusk, though, it's not the strongest lane presence between these two heroes. As a support you, it's not all that conventional. I do feel like Liquid's lanes can be pressured here.
I think Tusk is good for setting up IO relocates later. I would say that's maybe one of his strengths. And you can also do things like block off Bristleback, prevent him from retreating. It might be easier to deal with him at certain stages.
In what way does Tusk help set up those IO relocates?
Because you always want somebody that can ideally have enough disable that you can buy them 2 seconds to jump in and then follow up. So usually you want Nyx instead, but Tusk can force a fight to be elongated, is my thought about it.
I wouldn't say he's not like a hero that's going to go roam around looking for relocates by himself. That's maybe more mind control's hero. But it is, I do agree, there is some potential for the setup there.
I really like the Tusk into the clock. You can do like a lot of things to get your Sven out of that, outside the cogs. Because with Clockwork here, they pick it up instantly versus Sven because it's been known as a counter to the Sven because it's a BKB piercing disable. You can grab him inside the cogs, and then Sven has a little bit of awkwardness to get out. But Tusk, you snowball right through, you bring him out, or we've seen the clever uses of ice shards. You just ice shard and push him out kind of in a way. Could see some kind of innovation like that coming out from Kuro.
We know Kuro is master of Tusk when he's in the group stages.
Yep. Really nice thing right now with EG's draft is the flexibility. Bristleback can be run in all 3 lanes. Clockwork can be run in 2, so they can just wait and see what Liquid do and then decide, oh right, we're on Bristle in this lane. We're getting with this matchup. Clockwork could be Universe, could be 4 position for Zai. They have this insane ability just to mix up their lanes based on what Liquid pick here.
That's a great point. EG's been sticking to that versatility game for the majority of their drafts.
We've seen both Arteezy and Sumail play the burst. I don't think we've seen Universe on it. We won't be seeing Sumail on it this game.
They have the Sven stun. Tusk is okay because he has like the punch, but Snowball's not reliable. IO has no stun either, so they're already like, this is a great Star Spirit game. We've got Crystal Maiden Aura too, and a space-making Bristleback for him.
Only downside, of course, the Liquid gets a pick either here or later to counter him in a good matchup. So, but I do agree, it's definitely a very solid pick.
Mind Control Darks here made it pretty far. They are not really focusing on his heroes at all. Look at this. Look at these bans coming up from EG. They're actually not targeting MC whatsoever.
I think I think it's fair for them to be really worried about the Lone Druid, and Razor would have given them a good mid matchup, which is basically what Lone Druid kind of does, makes it safe for them. But I do like the Darkseer pick from Liquid. It's going to basically allow Liquid to always push in that lane, which may keep the supports more busy and give them more flexibility to actually pressure Storm instead. May like limit EG's hero resources because they're going to have to be all over the place.
This looks like a very hard to play IO game. They have Storm Spirit, you can just jump in the back lines, Clockwork as well to get the vision with rockets. You can always know exactly where he's kind of positioned, and Bristol's always kind of a pain. That being said, we did talk about the Sven with the Warcry can be quite helpful versus it, but definitely scared for the GH right now.
Still fandom for Liquid as well.
There's still an Invoker in the pool.
That's what the poster wants.
That's actually maybe the last pick to get with this draft. I mean, it's greedy, but I'm going to say they need something that's going to be able to deal with the Bristleback and just scale, because Sven is going to get kited at various stages of this game.
Yeah, they've ran Miracle on the Sven most of the times, and Matu played mid after that, but there's definitely he could definitely play Sven.
Were all those games with Lone Druid, though? Like, I don't think they've done that without the Lone Druid.
Believe so, yes.
The grand final meta is real already. Both of these teams have got 3 or 4. Wow.
That's for the Bristle.
We banned Necro versus Bristle.
Yeah, we banned Necro. Yeah, but
we're setting the meta for the grand finals, guys.
Lol.
Heartstop War is really good. Does a percentage of his HP just as time goes on. You can heal, AoE heal, which is going to offset some of what the AoE damage Bristleback does. And then if you get him facing you at the right time, you can ulti him, which does damage based on how much he's missing. So it'll really help you kill him when he's low.
It's incredibly good with IO too. You get the double heals coming out. Darkseer's going to naturally build a mech. You're going to have these this Warcry Necrophos who can have so much backup kind of with it. And they go for Kunkka, so it's going to be a Clockwork offlane it looks like. And it's going to be Zai playing Kunkka.
I like the Kunkka pick a lot. It's very good for the mobility that Liquid has.
You could not ask for a more exciting start, really.
Yeah.
The draft's completely developed. I can see you guys are excited. The Necrophos is converted.
I'm really happy to see a Necro come out. I think that hero has been buffed several times. Respawn talents got removed. He's been getting like continuous increased like chances. So I was gonna
go, please.
I'm gonna go with Liquid. I think EG still has a strong draft. This Bristle can be extremely difficult, and well, not just the Bristle, the Storm can get out of control because the lack of disable.
Yeah.
But I love me some GHIO. I can't really go against that one.
I don't blame you.
I'm on the EG wagon. I think as much as I like the Necro last pick, it's a hero that suits Liquid. Machi's played it a lot. They know how to play around it. I think EG's draft is still in their realm of what EG's been playing a lot of, the Clockwork for Universe, the Storm, Bristle, everything. Yeah. EG have gotten what they want out of this draft.
Yeah, I'm going to agree. I think EG's draft, I think they're ready for the IO pick, and I think they grabbed especially their second phase, they drafted around countering the IO. I think they can take the win.
All right, let's do this. It is your casters who are chomping at the bit to dig their teeth into a best-of-5 grand final. Evil Geniuses, Team Liquid, live from Moscow with your casters. It's Odie and Malini.
Thank you very much, Alex and Andy. We're incredibly excited for this one. Evil Geniuses, Liquid. What more could you want, Ben? I mean, we've got two of the best teams in the world battling it out for $250,000. The picks coming through, Necrophos being brought up in the grand finals. It's insane, Ben.
I love that hero. Necrophos hero is very underrated, and teams have finally been exploring more and more counters to Bristleback. We saw how useful and incredible the Sven was to counter the Bristleback yesterday, and let's see if they can pull it off today, combined with the Necro. Necro, he doesn't have that much armor. I would say that's probably the only downside about him in this game, but he is very good versus tankiness of the Bristleback if you can manage to Reaper him while he's facing you.
Yeah, absolutely. Just having that to cut down through what otherwise could be this beast that's impossible to bring down, as we've seen in a number of games. And again, you know, Liquid doing something else a little bit different. We have seen it before from them, but putting the Sven in the mid lane, something that no one else is really doing, Ben. But Miracle, he's comfortable on this hero in certain mid lane matchups.
And he's with the Wisp, so that makes it a lot easier. Generally, versus Storm, you don't really want a melee hero because they suffer a lot because you can't ever harass the Storm. You just drop Remnant and you just get screwed badly. So looking at the live poll, what, 2-1, maybe 3-2 in favor of IG, or EG, sorry.
IG?
It's like, wait, the exclamation point threw me off.
I was going to say IEG, but no, absolutely, yeah, slight edge for EG. I think that pretty much, I think a lot of people would agree in terms of that slight edge for EG coming into this and the runs that both of the teams have had, considering their whole group stages. You know, looking at all the games, EG arguably have played the better Dota, but Liquid have improved the most, I feel, from start to finish of this tournament.
Their odds were already quite low going into the grand finals, like getting here, right? Getting past the group stage.
Getting to this final level, yeah. So Liquid are definitely going to have the momentum behind them. There is no doubt about that. And here we go, Matu bringing the Necrophos to the main stage. It really is going to be incredibly interesting to see how it goes on. And as we said, Miracle on something that he's done once, but not too common. Kuroki and GH, though, on the other hand, 2 hero and Mind Control. Of course, these 3 on heroes that they're like their bread and butter to them. Mind Control with the Darkseer, GH with the Zio, and Kuro
a bunch of small items, Vanguard being the significant one, but Vanguard, damage block versus God Strength, not really blocking a whole lot there percentage-wise.
See what they can find here, Arteezy. He's got to be careful. Liquid with the full 5-man ready to fight. Can EG do something big to turn this die? He's going to be the one to be opened upon. Is he going to get a chance to get anything out? He will get out the torrent, hold back Miracle. Is there, controlling Arteezy. So trying to zip in to take down GH, but GH is kept alive. The snowball comes back in for Groki. The Reaper's size there. Samael's out. Arteezy down as well. EG, they've lost 3. They're going to lose even more. Crit tries for the freezing field, but Miracle picks up the triple kill. And Liquid fighting for taking the tier 2. Ben, this game may even be over.
Yeah, time to push high ground. I like the Wisp and Necro pairing a lot too, because Necro actually keeps your Wisp alive. That's one of the worst parts about playing Wisp, is everyone focusing. They try to kill the Wisp, but Necro is really good at protecting his little ball buddy.
How do you stop this push? 14 minutes in, losing a tier 3. The leg smart Miracle back, but he doesn't mind. He knows he's got the backup. Easy escape. Now they have the mech complete on mind control. More and more items coming together to fuel Liquid's push to the high ground, which at this rate could come again in very shortly. Taking down the shrines. Evil Geniuses. What's their plan? They finally get that hood finished up on Arteezy, so at least now he can remain a little alive, but there's so much to go around that. The God Strength from Miracle. Even at this stage, the punch from Kuroki.
I think like Sven right now is just, he's pretty much like a bristleback, in that he just does tons of damage and incredibly difficult to kill. And he's being more of a bristle boss than bristle boss is.
It seems, yeah, you may have complained about the bristleback pickers, but now it's the Necro Sven pickers you've got to be worried about. These guys coming in with the answers. Kuroki with the strats. And now again with the smoke. Break here, farming a big ancient stack, but he may just lose his life and not get anything out of this. Miracle straight up to the high ground. The snowball closing in. Crit will try to TP over to the shrine, but Arteezy's already dead, and now Crit, he's in trouble as well. They'll drag him back with the vacuum. A couple of hits, a crit and a punch, and Crit is gone. They'll take the ancients as well. I don't know, man. This game 1 of the grand finals of Epicenter. And it's got to feel pretty good for Liquid and pretty bad for Evil Geniuses.
So this fight, they take out the only team fighter that they have immediately at the start. And GH he has Warcry to buff him up, he has the Death Pulse to heal him up, and he also has a Surge. I think he gets all 3 in the Urn. So there's very little way of killing him. This is just dirty. I
mean, it's straight back into the action in the middle lane. Zai getting caught out of the base. 16.5 minutes in, the melee rack's in trouble. EG, have they got any hopes here, holding with just the 4 of them? Minimal items that they've been able to build up in comparison to how stacked Liquid's heroes are, and there we have it. The vacuum combo comes through. Universe will try and hold them back, but Crit's already fallen. The Blade Mallet doesn't matter. They just fight through it, take him down as well. Arteezy gets smacked in the face by a hefty uppercut from Kuro, and it's game over. It really is. 17 minutes in, 24-1, an absolute beatdown for Evil Geniuses as Liquid smiles on their face, and absolutely warranted. What a way to start the grand finals for them. An incredible just follow through of the momentum that they've been building up all this tournament.
So let's take away from that game. Make sure you protect Sumail a little bit better. You have to think twice about giving them Wisp. Those are pretty much the 2 main things. Maybe first phasing up Bristle also deserves some reconsideration now that Liquid has put out 2 counters on the table.
Yeah, I mean that was just insane, and I mean that's always good news if we're going to see less Bristle. You know, if they consider it maybe a hero that was, I mean, as weird as it sounds, a little too slow paced for this game. Normally a hero that's great at keeping up, but when a game is over and 17 minutes in, and you know that mid lane is getting countered that hard, what is the plan? I mean, Ben. I mean, that, it didn't feel like a finals. If that was worse than the show match, Ben. I mean, come on, that was...
That's why we banned Necrophos, dude.
You did?
We did.
You knew.
So
you knew.
At this point, you just have to look forward to the other 3 games that you're looking forward to win, and you have to again, secure Sumail's lane and think about how you want to approach the Wisp. That's pretty much the two main things that you need to take away from the game. There wasn't much to it. They had 1 kill to 24. They lost two of their lanes, I would say. It wasn't the most lane stompy thing except in the mid lane where Sumail just got dumpstered, and then you lost both the towers and your jungle. I actually have no idea how Matama Man took out that T1 tower so fast. I mean, he didn't have a Basilius.
Yeah, he was just on his own pushing away. And do you feel what, EG, how could they have done better in the other game? Was it just a fact that they needed to have
one
Crit and
person
Zai
needs
sitting
to
mid?
Yeah. Well, maybe not Zai, because Kuska, I think, is really weak at level 1. Crystal Maiden probably has to, but she probably wanted to get level 2, and Zai probably wanted to deal with the Darkseer, so that lane's not really hard for Bristle. So their resources were spread far too thin. I actually thought they were going to do Clockwork support, because I think Clockwork support would have actually been able to, if they come on you with all these 3 melee heroes, you can just cog them out, and they would have been okay. But yeah, the thing about this kind of loss is it's happened to EG before.
For sure.
In tournament grand
I mean,
finals.
there's no lower bracket here, so maybe this is them kind of trying to offset themselves, you know, just experience the entirety of a lower bracket in a game 1 of the grand finals.
Oh, this is what it feels like.
You know, all right, okay, and now it's time to come back. But I mean, we're not going to see surely a game that one-sided again.
Just might have to.
That doesn't happen.
They might have to take the Wisp themselves though. The IO, it seems like a small part. Oh yeah, just ban the IO, but the draft in the first phase especially is much more complex than that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, as you said, the IO, GH's play just enabling Miracle to go as ham as he was mid. But we're really kind of seeing that the synergy between the two. Could we know?
Really big deal. Yeah. So even if you lose that lane, you still have something to fall back on, and it's just so efficient. It's like right there. It's like one screen away.
I mean, as you said, what, first phase ban IO?
Or take it themselves. Yeah. Probably first phase ban though. I think you just ban it.
I mean, they are very good with the IO themselves.
But
maybe they'll see that. Maybe they'll try and take the dire side and do a similar sort of control around the mid lane.
Perhaps, but GHIO is stuff of nightmares.
And then, I mean, do you think, could it work the other way? Say if EG were as heavy as Liquid were on Sumail in return, if they did that to Miracle, do you think it could put Liquid in the same position? Or would you say, is Miracle better at coming back from a bad start than Sumail, or was he just purely the hero Sumail was
I think it was just purely the hero.
It was the hero match.
Like Storm, you're like, oh yeah, get 6, and then you're good, right? No, he didn't get level 6 for it.
I mean, by the time it was like level 8, and there was already a Rod of Atos, there was a Reaper Scythe. It's just, what do you do? It's
fun though after this sort of game to theorycraft what's going to happen in the first phase and what's going to happen in the draft. So like hero that drop priority, Bristleback, hero that goes up in priority, IO, and then like Sven and Necro also might be banned out. Like maybe you first phase Bristle and ban out the Sven and Necro. It seems like that's their solution.
I mean, when was the game that we saw Miracle do it before? It was.
It was also versus Bristle.
It was in the semis we saw Miracle play the mid Sven.
First LGD.
Yeah.
FY.
And it was not as good as here, but it was also very good in that game. Well, there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for sticking with us for that game 1. I hope you don't go anywhere. The rest of the series should be a little closer. It should be. I promise you.
Don't jinx it.
I'm crossing my fingers. But there we have it. Game 1 going to Team Liquid. That's it from me and Ben. We'll see you for Game 2. Back to the panel now for some post-game.
Master of the Light and the Fight, GH, a big part in it, and joining me on the panel now to talk through how Liquid have done it in 17 minutes. One of the quickest games we've actually seen here at Epicenter, and we did lose Gods for a moment, but Sir Winter has fortunately joined us alongside Fogged and none other than Purge. Gentlemen, 17-minute game. Your prediction's right, is what you said. Fogged, at least my prediction's right.
Yeah, it was a pretty one-sided game, but they did the things that we were kind of talking about, right? Yeah. They're like, put the attention on to Sumail. And that's exactly what they did. They didn't just commit the IO and the Sven. They even brought Tusk mid over and over and over again. They look at EG supports and they're like, it's a CM Kunkka. These guys need a couple levels before they can actually make proper rotations to kind of help anybody. They just punished the greediness that EG had in their lineup perfectly.
And even when they have levels, they're not even the best trading heroes. They'll have kind of weak nukes. Like they're good disables. They're good, give you time to right-click them, but CM is terrible at right-clicking. Yeah. She's really bad at trading early. She's very slow, and she can't stand up to a Tusk that gets a fast boots and an Orb of Venom. Yeah. So it's like, because the supports weren't as strong at level 1, and they can't stand up to all the extra regen they're getting from the IO tether, they just kept getting run over repeatedly, and Liquid just punished their draft so well.
Now,
THIO, man.
we'll come to that. Let's just focus on Sumail for a moment, because I want us to highlight that though it seems easy, it's very obvious for us at the desk, focus on Sumail, shut down that mid lane. We've seen what he's capable of, 9 heroes, 9 games, etc. It's not easy to do what they've done in this game, right, Fogged? I mean, shutting down Sumail against, EG, surely a lot of things have to go right.
Yeah, they did have, they did literally have pretty much everything go right in this game. It's like, okay, maybe right at the start they were like, the lanes were going a little bit, like for EG Universe was farming, Arteezy was farming too, but that's to be expected. You're having a Necro solo safe lane versus a Clockwork. They put the attention on him, and they were also being efficient. The IO, as Merlini mentioned during the end of the cast, he wasn't just